wider world, welcome to Plain Talk, soon to be the most watched talk show in Trinidad and Tobago, coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. Many of you would be aware that starting next week, this show will be a nightly show. We're working on the times, it's either 7 to 8 or 8 to 9. We're also in negotiations with at least 3 organizations to take it beyond social media, but as we've demonstrated with the Candlelight Movement, in the month of Andrea Barrett's funeral alone, we did 25 million views. It doesn't matter that we're not on TV. The people who still watching local TV in Trinidad and Tobago either don't understand the internet, or I would like to say before we go any further, because we have an intro, and after that intro, we have some interesting people to talk to and to discuss. People bringing my phone off the hook to find out you're walking from Arima tomorrow, who else walking. We're going to discuss all of that. But before we go to the intro, I would like to thank Darren's Air Conditioning. Darren's Air Conditioning is the best in the world. I love when people come to this studio and chat and they keep chattering. I know that's Darren's work. Good work, Darren. Unique Woodworking, 674-4091. You will get a ticker tape with everybody's contact information during the show if Satish is able to put the ticker tape together. Build a Basket, 769-4590. Build a Basket is on-demand hampers and gift baskets. They do fantastic work. SCA and CXC tuition classes. And the reason I'm reading my advertisers now is last week, was it last week? Yes. My life is a blur. I get no interruptions. I get no days off. We did an ad for Trissa Hydro Farm, which is the farm that I told people about that supplies the salad bags that they call it, which is a real garbage bag size plastic bag full of kale and lettuce and cucumber and pak choy and all kind of thing. And they told me the next day, they say, after you read my number on the air, my phone has stopped ringing off the hook. WhatsApp messages, Facebook, they find me. Southbridge Electrical did our studio lighting. We want to tell them thank you. And flood secure barriers, rainy season. We're in the rainy season, even though it's the dry season. If the dry season is wet, you can imagine how wet the wet season is going to be. Get your flood maintenance systems in place. And what these basically are dams and barriers. If your yard flood, you want to protect your house, you can call them at 796-8172. We're going to take a break, play our very sexy intro. When I come back, we'll deal with this in 2 parts. Stand by.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air-conditioned units starting at $2,100 with installation. We supply Lennox, Pioneer, Infinity, and Comfy units, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters for high-quality wood and steel doors, bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, and decks. We specialize in bank counters, office furniture, cabinetry with granite countertops, and over 500 architectural molding designs. We provide complete outfitting for hotels, resorts, hospitals, banks, tertiary institutions, condominiums, and residential projects. We also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak lumber locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and properly dried in our computerized kiln at our factories facilities in Trinidad. For over 32 years, our products have been standing strong, and we are committed to providing after-sales support. Visit our showroom or check out our website at www.uniquedoors-tt.com. It's the quality that makes us unique.
We're back, and today I've met a beautiful soul a couple of weeks now. We've been talking on social media. She's wanted to come on board the candlelight movement and get involved. Her story, when she told us some of her story today, I understood why it resonated with her. And a lot of people who find their way to the candlelight movement, they're finding their way here because it's a safe space, in no small part due to the women behind the candlelight movement, Havana Hector Joseph, Jody Mohammed, Felicia Holder, Candice Barrett. Felicia is our chairman, Candice is our PRO, and Felicia and Candice are here with us. Felicia Holder to my left.
Good evening, everybody.
Candice Barrett to my right.
Good evening, viewers.
And Kelly Phillip, the person that we met today. I want to tell her a big welcome and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
So let's drill right down because we have another big... We have to do the show in two parts tonight. We have big things happening. And I want to thank Satish, Ramsaran, Joseph, Rich Paul, and Crispin. They do the behind the scenes. People ask me if Crispin has a last name. I said, no, you have one name like Madonna. Because I don't know his last name. And they are the ones that make this thing happen behind the scenes. And we shouted out to all of our advertisers. It's very important that anybody who wants to advertise with this show and going forward, that we're going to be nightly, please reach out to Felicia Holder or Joseph Rich Paul if you would like to advertise. And you could call Trissa Hydro Farm at 682-5909 right now and ask them the impact of our advertising, of us mentioning your name. Or call Darren's Air Conditioning, 749-8245. Because this is the kind of ad, this is not stunt ads. This is the kind of ad that will sell out everything you have. Anyway, let's get on with the show. I want to hand it over right now to our able PRO to take us to where we are.
Good night again, viewers. And Kelly, we just had a chat with Kelly, and as Philip said, it became so apparent as to why she felt somewhat drawn to the candlelight movement. Kelly has an amazing, powerful story, really about overcoming and coming out more than a survivor, but you really have triumphed based on what it is that you would have faced in your lifetime, and now you're doing great things. Tell us about it.
Hi, good night, viewers. As mentioned, my name is Kelly Phillip. I am a registered nurse by profession. I am a spoken word poet, and I also wrote a manuscript based on my life story that very soon I want to publish. What is my story? Well, I am a survivor of a life of sexual and physical abuse since I was the age of 4 years old. And I live in 6 different children's homes, 2 foster care homes, even on the street. At one point in time, I lived at Riverside in Port of Spain. That's the socially displaced car park. And it wasn't easy. But through it all, I obtained, my CXC subjects, and, I write because writing was always my survival skill. I mean, it's so much I could share, but, coming from a life of physical and sexual abuse, people would look at me and say, girl, you so strong. But honestly, I wasn't always, strong like this. And I mean, I thank God for keeping me alive, because I believe that I was born on purpose, for purpose. And as mentioned to Mr. Phillip, and your test is your testimony and your mess is your message. And what is my message? When I was 9 years old, apart from all the abuse, I was pregnant for my uncle. And of course, my, step-grandmother, she gave me something, to have a miscarriage. And at 13, I was also pregnant again for, wasn't an uncle, but when I was 10, I was a child prostitute, and it wasn't easy. And just doing what it is I have to do to make ends meet, when it is you don't have, that support, when, you don't have that the parents and the guidance, and it was just so unfortunate, most of the things what it is that I went through. And it had a period in my life when I thought I was going mad because of everything that I was going through, and I could have ended up in the madhouse. I could have been dead. I used to eat rat poison like snacks because I used to also want to die, just like how I am brave and bold now to come and share my story. I wanted to die because I was like, why does I have to go through all of this? All of these different children's home. For Christmas, I remember in those children's home, one of the gifts that I always wanted was a family that would love me and protect me. And I wasn't a victim of domestic violence, but I wasn't abused by the man that I love, but I was abused by men and people who were supposed to love me. So, relationship right now, I never, rushed to go into a relationship, because though I am strong now and I overcame, healing still has to take place in those areas. And I just, right now, I believe my purpose is really to help people, overcome these situations, be a light to them. Just like all these candlelight vigil, I believe that I could be a positive light that, would encourage many people out there, to overcome and to speak out, because so much of people are suffering silently. Many people want to give up and they want to die because they don't know how to overcome the situation. They're afraid to, come and speak out, because sometimes when you speak out about the things that you go through, and I could attest it, I could testify to that, some people would misjudge you. Somebody told me once, I'll never forget this. It was an interview that I did, and when they heard that I was sexually abused since the age of 4 years old till I was 19, they were like, so young, this girl having sex? And I was like, you for real? It was forced. I never gave consent, and
you couldn't give consent.
Yeah, I couldn't give consent.
You can't. There's something called the age of consent, so you
Yeah.
couldn't give consent. But we live in a country where there are some people we refer to as low information voters. And the problem is, even though they're an absolute small Godsmack minority, they have the biggest voice and they talk so much. And every knuckle-dragging sycophant outside there who wants to get attention, they can't get the attention for what they do, is try to use other people's stories.
It's true.
To make themselves sound bigger than they are. When you check them, you scratch the surface, they bring nothing of substance to the table. And what you have to learn quickly, in Trinidad and Tobago, when stepping up and speaking out, learn to recognize the symptoms of people who just use social media as a soapbox. Look at me, if their mother and father had given them a hug as a child, they wouldn't be trying to do that. So I'm saying to them, I wish them that they could get healing and they should get some counseling.
Yeah.
And I am sorry that you, on your journey, have to encounter such Neanderthals. And I'm apologizing to you on their behalf. And continue.
Yeah. Yes, sir, because, sir, I'm grateful for that apology on their behalf. And I forgave them also, because sometimes when you're forgiving people, well, I must say, when you forgive people, you're not forgiving them for them, but you're forgiving them for you. Because unforgiveness is like a weight. I had so much anger, so much pain. I used to say when I get older, I wish I could have said this piece that I wrote when I was younger though. It was just a piece about pain, what I would do to the abusers when I get older and stuff like that, but I won't share that right now.
I feel you show me one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. Because most of
let me write in a book though.
Oh, I wrote a book based on my life story, and it's a collaboration of my story mixed with poems, because I write poems. I have poems on domestic violence and child abuse, any topic. Writing just comes natural, because as mentioned, it is my survival skill. So I want to publish it very soon, because I know that this book would encourage many people to speak up. We was mentioning something earlier when I thought from this negative statement that this person made. I actually, because when I was 7 years old, I started to willfully have sex. So in my mind, I was like, so I wasn't really raped. I gave consent, but how could a 7-year-old give consent?
Exactly.
I just made the decision to stop fighting, because I didn't want to get no choking anymore, no beating, and no nail traps, because they used to set nail traps to me. I underneath my foot is such a mess. I wish I could take off my shoes and show it to you all, but That wouldn't be a presentable sight. But I have so much of wounds under my feet from mashing nails. I mean, there's so much I could share with you all, eh? So it is.
Kelly, the thing
Wow.
with you, we're gonna get on with your story, eh? But I think that the thing that you best epitomize, Candice
Yes.
alluded, is that you are an overcomer.
Amen, I am.
Girl, I hear how you describe and how you take negative words and turn them into
Yes.
positives, and
Yes.
and very rarely do I meet somebody who teach me something and you taught me. I tell you, sometimes I just want to go through the phone and strangle those people who make life so difficult.
Yes.
This foolishness. But anyway, let me pass you over to Felicia. I know she wanted to ask her.
Yeah, well, I last week we had
Candy
on the program, and Candy was a survivor
Right.
of an attempted kidnapping, possible human trafficking case, and the conversation segued into something that is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm so glad that we have people speaking about it now and we're shining a spotlight on this, which is the prevalence of what you went through just rampant throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and we have so many young children being molested and abused and incest and rape. But I feel like to the extent to which it is happening, I don't feel like the correct amount of attention is being placed on it. To the extent to which it is happening, I don't believe you're hearing enough people speaking out about it. And when I say people speaking out about it, not necessarily the victims, because I completely understand why a victim may feel uncomfortable or even repress the fact that it happened to them. But I'm talking about child psychologists and people from the Ministry of Social Development and Social Welfare and teachers and parents. Why aren't more people talking about something that is clearly hurting our young children? I might say hurting. I think the candlelight movement started as a light shining for, Andrea Barrett and other women who were murdered or lost their lives or gone missing in this godforsaken country. But through it and evolving from it, we mentioned cases like
saying God
They
forsaken.
will knock you for saying God forsaken, and last night I wanted to drag them.
why would they not
No,
be?
because they
I'm
say,
saying
why you don't leave, why you don't back and go if you're in the country God forsaken. Last night I wanted to drag them by the scruff of their neck and stick their face
Actually-
into what Andrea Barrett went through.
Oh,
they
the
didn't
total
love her up and kiss her. They didn't give her jelly beans and gumdrops. They kick and cuff up that girl. They bust her hair and split her skull. People in Trinidad and Tobago read things on the surface and we operate on the surface, and it's time we stop and realize that these people are being raped to death.
Yes.
Akil Chambers
And
that's
was
where I was
raped
going.
to death.
Sean, look, wow.
And that is exactly where I was going, that this has evolved and we have taken up and we have shown a light on cases like Akil Chambers and Sean Luke and other children who
Amy
have
Anamatudo, Daniel
Needlessly.
Guerra. Let's not forget their names. You know what we need to do? We need to just show one of these days, and just for as long as it takes, read all the names.
the names of the children.
All
And,
the victims. Read their names.
I could have been one of them, but thank God.
and Kelly, that's what I wanted to say, that, when the Me Too movement started and the Black Lives movement started down here, I wasn't too particularly fond of it because I felt like Trinese was just being
Bandwagon.
Trinese, jumping on a bandwagon. This and what has happened and been sparked through the candlelight movement, hearing your story and listening to other women tell their story, Candy's story last week, and so many countless stories.
Mr. Munisa.
It's cool, exactly. Hearing parents and survivors come forward and tell their story. Like Phillip said, it's homegrown and it's real
Authentic.
and it's authentic. That's a word. Thank you.
You
for
know what
that,
I like
Phillip.
about you all?
That's why I have the corner office.
I want to hear what you like about us.
Yeah, bend that down.
Yeah.
Satish, we call this part. We don't get that often.
Go ahead, take your time.
No, in all seriousness, what I like about you all is the realness, the non-judgmental zone. Because a lot of people are afraid to come out because they're afraid of being judged. Because we have a lot of judgmental people in
Yeah.
society, let's be real. You will come out and you will talk. Look at so much people came out in domestic situations and say, especially who need help with children and stuff. So why you going with a man then? Why you're with a man who can't make children? He had to beat you for something. You know, people always trying to judge people for coming out. So that is what I love about you all. The fact that you all don't judge.
Not just that we don't judge, we will defend you.
Yes, and I felt so safe.
We will defend you and the other victims and the other survivors. We will defend you. We will create a space where you are safe from those knuckle-dragging, low-information Neanderthals.
And you know, I'm so glad to hear it from Kelly's perspective, because one of the things, and you know this has been dear to my heart, one of the things that we have done and we've seen happening even before we became the Candlelight Movement, but when it was just, it came from you having lit that candle and it became the vigils outside the Red House, was that almost every night that I was there from the Tuesday to the Friday night, there were victims. Almost every night there was a rape victim who came and said, this is my story. And you know, even when you speak to them after and you understand what was operating in their minds and what gave them the strength and the encouragement and the support to make them say, you know what, this is what I need to do. And before Andrea Barrett, I don't think I've ever seen in Trinidad a rape victim tell their story in front of a crowd. You know, if you see something on the news or a program, it would have been like a pixelated. I have this image of like a victim in the dark or in a pixelated.
But there's nowhere. Where do they go?
No.
Who's creating that space?
And that's the problem, because you need these stories to come out. You need these stories of domestic violence. You need these stories of rape. You need these stories
people
of
who go into it now could get strength from this.
Yes, exactly. You were saying something. It was a little off topic, but still on topic. You were saying where do they go to? Where do they turn to? And it just reminded me of something that we were talking about prior to coming on the show, where, you know, somebody reached out to me. They're trying to find help for a 19-year-old who has no subjects. She's in an abusive situation. She has a young child, and they're basically trying to find out where can they get help. And in a case like this, I couldn't even think of a number. And when I say a number, a government number that I can send them to.
I can give you angels, and I can tell you, since the Jericho Project is 27 years old, and we've been working in the Jericho Project, and within the first year of the Jericho Project, I met an angel by the name of Roxanne Balmes.
She was one of my social workers when I was at the group.
Roxanne is my darling. Roxanne and I have been through.
She could tell you about me.
Roxanne is my darling. Roxanne is an absolute angel. I've known Roxanne for about 27 years. Her number is...
She's an amazing
781-1200. And when you want to reach out to somebody, she's the backbone now, the victim and witness support unit. And you need to understand, when we went south, Candice brought the surviving grandparents of a little boy named Veer that we met. And Veer went to school one morning and went to school normal. His world was normal. And he was 7. And he came home and his mother was dead and his father was in jail. Now, at the age of 7, most children's world is their parents, their family, and then everything else outside of that. So he came home to his entire world gone. That's what he came home to. And the reason I raise it, Veer's name, is because we met his grandparents, we spoke to his grandparents.
Mr. and Mrs. Dubari.
And I want you to take some information.
I actually spoke to Mr. Dubari 2 nights ago.
Right. Well, I told the nation that I was going to reach out to one of the best trauma counselors in the region, a young woman by the name of Jody Gonzalez. And Jody has found to fit them in. Now, the intake session, for the initial intake session for the primary caregivers who are the existing grandparents, are $700. And then the initial meeting with Veer and Jody, that's $600. We need to raise $1,300 to cover the cost, because we got a session for them on Tuesday the 13th at 4 p.m. That's next week Tuesday. Anybody outside here who's watching this, You can reach out to Candice or to Felicia, because it's literally going straight to Jody. I could even find out from Jody Gonzalez if you could make a payment to her direct if you need. No, don't call me now. Don't call now. You could WhatsApp me. Don't call. But if you WhatsApp in to say that you want to pay that $1,300, you want to pay some of it, because Felicia's number is 7694590. I don't know if Candice gives out her number.
That's fine. 2764422.
So call them, please, because this little boy, Veer, he's going to need proper trauma counseling if he's to make it through. There's going to be clowns who are going to ask, why just this boy when so many children went through all of this? I remember a story about a little boy walking down a beach, and there were just starfish all over the beach, and he was throwing the starfish back in the water. And a man passed and telling him, boy, what are you doing? You can't save all the starfish. They ain't making a difference. And with the starfish he was throwing back in the water, he said, I'm making a difference to this one.
Yeah, they saved one.
And that's where we at. Okay? So, and in every situation, everybody we meet, we try to solve a problem, we try to fix it. I want to fix it for Veer. I may never see or speak to that boy again in life, but I'd like to know that because Candice met with his grandparents and they came and told his story, we had the opportunity to meet him, and I would really like us to save one. Help us save this one. If you want to get involved, you could actually become a long-term sponsor, for want of a better word. You could meet them, you could deal with them, you could deal with the therapist direct, and if you could take that piece of the responsibility and go with that, they'll be helping us make a space for somebody else. I'm so happy that you know Roxanne. I'm so happy. Roxanne is the darling. Roxanne has messaged me. We intervened for a guy named Kundan Ramuta. I would say Joshua and Kaifa would have been about 15. So about 12 years ago, Kundan was an engineer in Tobago. So it's about 12 years ago we met Kundan. Kundan sent a message to me. He found me on Facebook. He could have, I want to tell you his story quickly. Kundan was an engineer in Tobago on a project, and he got on a plane to come back to Trinidad, and on the flight to Trinidad became paralyzed from the neck down. And he's been paralyzed from the neck down since. His world changed immediately. He stopped being an engineer and started being a quadriplegic. And we got involved through the Jericho project. We went to Kundan's house, we fixed up his house, and a lot of the members came on then. And this was a long time ago. And we fixed up his house. What he needed was a ramp down his driveway so that his wheelchair could have gotten, his old rickety wheelchair could have gotten down to the van that picked him up and took him for therapy. And we went and we built that ramp. But not only did we do that, members donated for a fancy state-of-the-art wheelchair for Kundan, and we were able to do that. We cleaned his house, painted it up, fixed it up nice for him. He found me on social media because he could have moved one finger. He taught himself how to move one finger, and he would communicate with me, typing. Anyway, long story short, Roxanne Palmy, 781-1200, she's trying to get some support and some help for him, food hampers and stuff, because we in a country, and a lot of y'all may not be paying attention to what's going on in the region. A prime minister said today, by next week, he can't pay public servant salaries. Trinidad is heading there. And we don't know the story of the people at the bottom rung, the most needy people, like a quadriplegic, trapped in a bed, living on his special needs disbursement. And when those things come later, they don't come at all, they don't eat. They can't pay for their caregiver.
Medication.
So if you could reach out here, if you could reach out to us here, or you could reach out to Felicia 7694590 or Candice
2764422.
and Satish will put those numbers in the ticker tape if the ticker tape is working. Now we have a ticker tape tonight, Satram. Got a thumbs up. So we have a ticker tape, so you should be getting their numbers in the ticker tape. Roxanne Palmy, so you can reach out to her directly. She's working on hampers for him and a lot of other people. If you want to help people, if you really have a heart for people and you want to help and you want to stay in your house but send some assistance, reach out to Roxanne Palmy. This is a woman who has given her life to helping. I mean, Kelly, you can speak for her. The story, where there's pain, she goes to that pain.
I know, she was first an nursing assistant, and then she went into social work. And I met her, I met with Roxanne Palmis. I met her when I was a social case at Mount Hope Hospital for 6 months before they sent me to live at the Margaret Kissel Children's Home in Malabar. I was 13 years old, and that's how I met her. And it so happened that she ended up being my social worker when I was at one of the children's home that I lived in. And I don't think that it was by chance, but she has really been a very good social worker. And I mean, during those times I had a lot of problems, like a lot of issues, because I had post-traumatic stress disorder, and I mean, I used to always feel like isolated and in a box then. But this lady, she is truly the angel that you describe her to be, because through it all, she never gave up on me. Though I wanted to give up, though I was pushing her away, she never gave up on me. And it's people like them who truly makes a difference.
They need to be in the spotlight. The Roxanne Palmis of this world. Fellas like Gregory Sloan Seal, as our next person who outside there, Gregory walking the walk while the rest of them talking the talk. If you want, get in touch with Gregory Sloan Seal. Any minister of national security worth his salt, wanting to fix this country, would sit down with the Ministry of Social Development and Gregory Sloan Seal, and he will show you how to turn hot spots into cool spots. But we're not there as a country. Plenty people prefer to bitch and moan and talk a set of nonsense on Facebook. Plenty people just prefer to, you think that you could just keep complaining. There are people who've been having the same complaint 50 years now. Yep. If you're not prepared to put your feet on the ground or get your hands dirty and get involved and help people, what's the point to you?
Yeah. Exactly. I want to say though that your story is very, I mean, apart from being sad, it's also very inspirational that, you came through and you came out of this and you landed on your feet, because not many people could say that, and that you have that testimony, I think is very important, it's very positive, and it's very, instrumental in the lives of people who trying to come out of situations like yours, like you have been trying to come out. And for people out there who have, who feel like there is no out or that there is no positive outcome, I hope you're looking at Kelly and seeing that, where that it can be a possibility for you too. And I do definitely look forward to having you on the Candlelight Movement Committee, assisting us and helping us get the word out there to assist more people like you and other victims throughout the country.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
What I want to say lastly is that I don't feel sorry for myself. My motto for life is, if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. I believe that we all go through many tests, because our tests could become testimonies, or mess will become our message. We all have a story that will help somebody cross.
I'm going to be using that in our conversation. I love that. Test become a testimony and mess become a message. I love that. Kelly, you inspired me tonight. I came here tonight. I'm frustrated with this country, People hear it in my voice. I'm telling you, I'm frustrated with this country. We have charlatans in the parliament and government. I am happy that I'm walking this road now. And I mean, this has been my life, and I have to say that I didn't choose this for me. I could have easily have been a Pharisee or a Stuart Young or one of these other mocking pretenders, go and sit down in a suit and tie and make money and pretend that having a flashy shoe and a tight pants make me somebody. And I ended up in this, and I've counted my life. We've worked with the homeless. You told me tonight that you stayed at that car park madness
for 2 weeks.
But for years we ran something called My Daily Soup, and we would go there every single day with soup for those people. And people will tell me, again, these same knuckle-dragging Neanderthals who don't have a good word to say about anybody or time to help anybody, they'll tell you, but these people, they make their life choice. And that's exactly what they believe, until somebody in their life get a diagnosis or an accident. You know how many people end up homeless?
Crisis.
That's it. The amount of people that end up homeless because of a diagnosis. That your father or your mother or your child end up with a cancer diagnosis. Cancer sucks money a pump.
It does.
From the moment you get that cancer diagnosis, start to sell stuff. Because watch me, If you don't have insurance, and insurance gonna run out quickly, there's no insurance that I'm aware of that will be with you till the end. At some point, you'll be in debt, you'll be in poverty, you'll be in tears. Your money will run out, your friends will run out, the people that you're stopping every 2 weeks to tell them buy a barbecue or curricue because you're just trying to keep somebody alive. And then you remember the times you used to talk crap, thinking that life is about you and your choices alone. I want to tell you something. In 2008, me and my son, we were in Prado. I had just come from a little line. And we were just driving normal, slow, just a normal pace. A truck break up Major Road, crashed into the car. I lost a year of my life, 4 surgeries, $300,000. And if I didn't have friends and help, I could have easily lost so much more. And I don't want this to be about my story, but I just know how quickly, and I tell people, I describe that moment, and I have a friend, Vernon Gonzalez, comes by me for soup every week. And if I don't make soup, he reminds me, hey, I saved your life, I took you to the hospital. And he said this week, he said, wiping a little bit of blood out of that car, been milking this, it's 2008. Now, but he's like family, right? But I told people, I keep saying, my life spilled out onto a Barataria road. I got to the hospital unconscious. I didn't know where my child was.
Oh.
If it wasn't for friends and people that were with me, picked up my wallet and my phone and stuff, you don't realize how quickly. I mean, I talking to you and I hear the smash. It hit the left back door behind where my son was sitting. And the truck hit there. And then the whole world, we rolled over, and it was just every glass on that vehicle broke. It broke off a wheel from the hub. It was so severe. And I'm just saying that I talk to homeless people. I have known homeless people. I've known orphans that are now grown-ups that we've been working with. And homeless people tell you the stories. They say, I wasn't always homeless. I had a life, I had a business. Life takes strange turns, and I think what holds this world together are good people like yourself, who went through and should have come out a failure or a hater, who's still standing up as an example of what all of us should strive to be, and they still have knuckleheads outside there talking nonsense.
Do you say that? That is one of the things that I love about people like Kelly and so many women that we've met while we've been doing this. And every time you meet a woman who's passionate about a cause, whether it's domestic violence, rape, setting up a women's shelter, it is because of their story. And Felicity was talking about the 19-year-old girl that she's trying to assist. And I'm sure she has a story, because that sort of situation doesn't happen overnight. And when Felicity and I spoke today about that, and we were trying to figure out who we could get to help. And I understand the point that Felicity was making, which is that we can't point to a government organization that would provide any sort of assistance. I had to think about Kamika and Avanel and the women that we've been working with that have their own causes.
No, but don't go about Avanel Lecter. I mean, she's an ex-angel. From the moment I first met Avanel, I expected, Avanel was a force of nature when I spoke to her. I met Avanel during the Haiti earthquake. The Jericho project was new, and we were just getting our feet wet in Trinidad, working with the orphans and the homeless, and then this thing happened in Haiti, and everybody tried to get involved and organize supplies and send. And I met this woman over the phone, Avanel, and she was coordinating so many things. I thought she was a state agency. She has an organization called Is There Not a Cause? And that's a perfect description for this woman. She's the next person who drop her hat, who start up a movement to deal with something. That Avanel showed up for the candlelight vigils and became a pillar in the candlelight movement was normal. Because that's who gravitated to this. And a lot of people, and I say this with love to myself, I am not their first choice as an activist. I am a sledgehammer. I don't sweet talk. I tell people all the time, don't come to me for kumbaya. Come to me when you're ready to break it down, mash it up, start it over. That's who I am. And crew that built around this, and we have others like Inchan is the next guy. He will go on TV and raise funds for people he will never meet or never know and just keep moving on. Stefan Reese. We don't call Stefan name in our Buffalo. Let's just say that these shirts that we print to sell to make some money, to keep this thing going. Stefan on a morning show, sell out all. You know, we met this tiny little quiet Jody Muhammad. And
she's
the
a
first time we put a
feisty.
microphone in her hand, I think she's gonna take my snatch hammer and go with it too. and I think that I don't know, I just, my country, our country is broken. It is broken. There should have been people to rescue you at 7, at 4. There should have been people. You should have been able to go on a phone and dial 911 and say help. You know there's a new international thing they're promoting now, designed for help me. That's it. If somebody does that, if you see somebody and they walk past you and they do this, that means help me.
Yes.
I need help. And it's for people who are in a situation where they can't say, because the person or the people that they with will brutalize them. That's for people who are in situations that are in need of a rescue. Pay attention. If you see somebody, this is December, this is what they do. That's healthy. And we need to spread that and get that out there, because that is a thing that's trending. And we need, talk about us, keep up with the church. This country has so many churches, so many mosques, and so many temples, and so much pain. I don't understand.
But
we praying hard to God and we not minding God, Sharon. What we doing?
Well, one of the things that she said, and to me, it's so tragic and sad, but also disgusting, is the response to people. Because if you're on social media, I know you probably don't read comments, but when you see an article of a child who was raped, a 14, 15-year-old, who ran away from home and they held a man, or even if they didn't run away from home, the comments and the responses that you get from people, and I'm fed up of having the fight with people that a child cannot consent. You cannot say, stop slut shaming children, and that's the chauvinism, and that's the misogyny.
I believe that I wasn't able to know. Since 4 years old,
Listen,
I think.
the people who do that, if that's what you tempted to respond, call me. I'll pay for you
to get therapy.
Tie your tubes, or snip your testicles. At least don't make children.
Yeah,
because clowns like you shouldn't breed. You shouldn't have offspring. You're not going to help the collective. Let it die with you when you're dead and gone.
But those are the people with the most opinions. And those are the people with the biggest mouths who just can't wait to jump on something.
And Avenel said that we normalize things. We normalize in this country that when poor black children dead, there's criminals.
Yes.
We normalize that.
That's
So it's embarrassed. I feel my heart breaks for poor black mothers. Because poor black mothers who raise their children, whether the child become a criminal or accidental shooting or whatever, they're not allowed to grieve. Because the rest of us, we want to kick she in she face and tell she your child was a good boy. And we feel somehow like we're important talking this foolishness. And I don't know what it gets them. I don't know the screenshotters and old talkers and what do you get? When you meet some of them in real life, is the smallest,
cowards.
meekest, biggest cowards. They are online bullies.
Yeah.
Come and talk in real life now. Come and say these things.
I remember reading once from someone who was addressing a comment made on a post of a child who ran away and, apparently came back. And it was filled with the comments that you were just saying that, they look for that, or they went for man.
Them little guilty
and they
pots.
went for man. Yeah, and I remember somebody posted something that I loved. I love what they said. They said, sometimes when a child comes back, is not necessarily they came back under the best of circumstances. So, they were missing and now they're back, and people cast them away, waste police time.
Yeah.
And they want to find out why.
And
they
they
didn't
don't
hear
know
where
the
they went.
situation.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what
they're,
the
like, backing
person.
up.
That's what the person said. He said a child. Always remember that a child doesn't just run away because
I was a runner.
you either running from something or to something.
Yeah.
And the fact that some people don't take a second to sit down and think, why me, this child?
Yeah.
Why did this child
Because
make me
those I
run away?
screenshot who slut shame Andrea.
Yeah.
Wow.
All they forget. I ain't forget, you know.
People did
I get all
that.
that blind. I get all that blind. You think I forget?
People slut shame the girl.
But
Before
everybody who
we
goes
knew.
missing went for man.
Yeah.
So Ashanti went for man. And when
Don't
you find
say that's
Ashanti
about
dead
Ashanti.
body, listen now. Huh?
Poor girl. They said that's about a chance.
But I'm telling you,
She went for man.
I'm telling you, and
Them
some of them
young
who
spots.
outside there, big cry, big weep now, but you were slut shaming the girl.
Yeah.
Like you have 2 years.
It's sick
Like you
now.
can't understand that not everything is what you think it is in your broken and twisted mind. And I really gonna come at you now. You see the ones of you all that derail conversations, I come in at you now, and I strum like a Russian train. So when you come in, come good, because I will make you cry. And some of you, especially those little PNM ministers, just have to run crying to their mommy and go and get a lawyer to take me to court. Oh, he hurt my feelings. Big government ministers in a court, he hurt my feelings, he made me cry. My wife don't look at me the same. Damaged my ability to do business. His voice is so strong. This is what I deal with. Trying to fix this country.
Wow.
But can I take this moment, since we're on Avenel and her great work? I don't know how many people know that she is doing a massive Soufriere relief effort
Right now?
So if you find she's been a little bit quiet as it pertains to us, she is extremely busy sending her usual aid all over
She
the
must be looking
Caribbean.
for a plane.
So-
she must be trying to find a plane to get herself there. Listen, I ain't surprised we had Inchan this long. I'm surprised we had Avenel this long. These are people who roll up their sleeves and get involved and fix it.
Yeah.
And you could listen. You see the opinion people. A woman wrote me today, and I wanna. Okay, so I can't tell a whole story, Mr. Alexander. My name is. I spoke to you about a situation that took place just a few minutes ago. Police officers came to my home. They identified themselves. I can't remember the name. It was so sudden. I know it's traumatic. And they literally came to take the woman's children. So she's messaging me. Her 3 children are gone. And tomorrow they're coming with the child protection people because they have some report and some investigation. I don't understand this. So I told her, she asked me, she says, this woman doesn't have anybody to turn to. The same way you have nobody to turn to, she don't know who to call. She don't know who to call, and her children gone. I could imagine the pain this woman going through. So I tell her, she asked me, what to do when they come? She had Laura, I said, call me. Call me when they come. I want to find out. It's like when they were emptying Errol Fabian's house. The bank pull up to empty Errol Fabian's house. I called Errol. I said, put the bank on the phone with me. Put the person representing First Citizens Bank on the phone with me. Because I want to tell them that I will make sure Errol money bill pay off today. So treat the man with some respect. These are the things that we do now. And I want to ask Trinidad and Tobago, I said, listen, I know we have haters in Trinidad and Tobago. For some reason, we've degenerated. Instead of rising high, some of us have chosen to dig down deep. I understand that. This is not for you. Switch off and go your way. For the other people who have good hearts and want a better country, we need your help. However you feel that is, because we could be more for many more people. The miracles that Felicia Holders does with the fishes and loaves that we get to keep the lights on in this place, Sati Shamsaran does with this studio so that we can bring this message to you and going nightly. And I want to tell you something, and we come in like an earthquake. We come in every night with current affairs. We're going to deal with it and we're going to fix it. I want to tell people 682-2110 is my number. And if you're having a problem with any public or private service and you feel like you're abused, message me. We'll find a way to fix it. Ladies, we're going to bring this to a wrap because we have to go now and deal with the consistent inconsistencies in our solid waste management in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to give each of you an opportunity for your closing comments and to contribute. Kelly, I want to tell you, you're part of this family now, right? You ain't going nowhere. Like I told, was the girl that from last week?
Candy.
I told Candy, I said, she not going nowhere. And somebody, remind me, Candice, somebody reached out to me because Candy wants to build her house, and somebody reached out.
I think I got a message.
You got a message too?
Well, you sent me. Or is there somebody else?
Not sure.
Well,
but remind me after the show to give you that message because somebody from New York City who wants to help Candy with that house. You could go first.
Right. I am very grateful, for this opportunity. I have been, following Mr. Phillip, and you see, your vision, I used to say I have to meet this man because my prayer is always prayer, say, God, align me with the right people. Because I have a message, and I know that, this message, it could reach many people, and people who are afraid to speak up, I know that they will speak up. Because, I don't believe that, I'm alive for no reason, purpose, and I know that purpose would be fulfilled. So, to the viewers, everybody, I thank you, for listening, and I pray and I hope that, I encouraged you in some way, and I want you to know to don't give up. There's a purpose for your pain, and I'm so happy to be on board with you all, and I know that you all are change agents, and I want to help make a difference too. Because we can't be self-centered. We have to be selfless people if we really want to see Trinidad and Tobago and the world a better place.
Amen. And it's about PR.
I think every time I come here, I leave here more inspired than I came. And meeting Kelly and I spoke this week a few times, and sitting down and meeting her and hearing some of her story. When somebody just gives you perspective, we've met so many victims and we've met so many survivors, but this evening, Kelly was what I needed in my life. And, hearing her story, there's obviously a lot more she wouldn't have even had the time to share, but she would have mentioned to us or alluded to. And she is one of those people that her story will come out. At some point, we're going to tell her story, and that is going to be to continue to inspire people. And that will be, there's a saying that one day you will tell your story of how you survived, and that will be somebody else's survival guide. Yes. That is what I was thinking when we were having this conversation earlier. And, we do want to work as closely as we can to help Kelly get her story out there, and to continue to inspire people, and to continue to let people know that, you don't, regardless of what you've gone through and regardless of your circumstances, you don't have to continue to be a victim. And it's not to trivialize anybody's story, because that is also something that I'm very careful with. Yeah. And once you feel hurt or you feel traumatized, I'm not the kind of person that would ever say, well, this one have it worse, so therefore my pain isn't important. I think we all need to address everybody's pain. But when you hear stories like Kelly's, you realize that regardless of what you've been through in your life, you could find a way to survive and to thrive. And one of the things, I don't know if she touched on it tonight here, but Kelly goes around and she tells her story, and everything that she has gone through, she is using to impact people going through a similar situation. And I know that she is making a difference in so many lives, and that is amazing. And I felt genuinely humbled that you came to us and you said, basically you guys are my people now, and that you were drawn to the Candlelight movement because we've been honestly meeting with so many victims and so many women that are on a similar path as you, and every time they come to us and they find camaraderie and sorority in what we're doing, and they suddenly become like our sisters that we didn't know a few days ago, it really reinforces the importance of what we're doing and why we're doing it. Because the petition is one aspect of it, but giving hope and effecting change, that is what we are all about, and we're about making a genuine difference for all citizens, women and children and girls, but also just making Trinidad a better place. And so I want to thank Kelly for coming with us and sharing her story, but I also want to just bring it back for 2 minutes to the petition. We are still continuing, as most people would have known by now. We've extended the deadline because of the COVID situation and the recent spike in numbers and the sort of clamping down on activities and events. We've been working behind the scenes, but we have been continuing to push the petition, and we have increased our target. Our initial target was 100,000 signatures. Now we are going for 250,000 signatures. So please, if you are not hearing from us every day, it doesn't mean that we are not doing this. We are very much alive, and we're very much invested in what we have been doing for the last month. We are still getting signatures. You still have the ability to become a petition location for your business, or even a sort of an agent. If you want petitions, please contact us. We have a page. You have our numbers. My number is 276-4422. And WhatsApp me if you want petitions. We can email it to you, and just keep getting those signatures. We're in the process also of having a massive recall, because we have definitely over 10,000 petitions out there, and it's all a numbers game. We are calculating, tallying up those signatures, and we're reaching the target, but we need to get the signatures back. We need to get the petition sheets back. If you do not know where to drop in your completed sheets, please feel free to contact the page. Send me a WhatsApp, 276-4422. I know Phyllis would probably give you her number as well when she comes on. And we just want to continue with our mission, which ultimately is to make Trinidad a better place. And we have found so much unity and so much solidarity and so much love for what we've been doing in the last over a month. And we thank everybody for their support, and everyone who's now coming on board, we say welcome. Please feel free to reach out to us and become part of the family. Thank you so much.
That's it. Felicia Holder, Chairman.
Yes. Firstly, let me say, Kelly, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you, and thank you for sharing your story with us. I am positively touched at least one life tonight, but we all know it's going to be more than that. For anybody watching Kelly's story, I don't know if you would want to give out your number, or you can just send me a WhatsApp.
You give your number publicly. You wanted to contact you through Candice and Felicia.
Anything.
What may you say? Anything, but you will get.
You'll get a flood of messages. So what you can, yeah. So what you can do is you can send me a WhatsApp if you'd like to reach out to Kelly, and I will forward your message to her. My number is 769-4590. Candice, back to the petition and the candlelight movement as well. Candice touched on the return of packages and the fact that we are not gone, and I want to underscore that as well. We as a committee last week Friday made a decision, seeing that we have extended the deadline, to go on a massive recall campaign. So at this moment we have done a lot of the work to get them out there. Now a lot of the work that we're expecting would be on the part of you guys to get them back into us. We have so many hubs across the country. If you can't find one, you call any of the hotline numbers. My number, which is 769-4590, Philip's number 682-2110, the candlelight hotline phone right now, which is 486-2888 or 471-2888. I'm pretty sure some of those numbers might be up on the screen. So if you can't find a location to return the petition packages, just reach out to any one of those numbers. And I did allude to the fact that because we're now on a campaign to bring back any petitions, that we would no longer be ordering more of these. So this is a last batch of Candlelight Movement t-shirts that you can see us sporting tonight in the lovely color of black. We have restocked, yay! So everybody who's been asking about the black and the size mediums and the large that went out of stock maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, yes, we have them back in stock, but this is the last batch that we're ordering. So, and it's not many that I ordered, so don't stick or you will not get your candlelight t-shirt. I just want to thank everybody for supporting us thus far on this journey. I think it's been like, it was unexpected that this candlelight movement even started, but I don't think, I think it came at the right time. I love the sisterhood that we have formed around it, and I love the fact, and bring this back to what Kelly, came here to talk about tonight. I love the fact that we started an authentic movement. I love that you gave me that word. We started an authentic, yes, that's why you have the corner office. Started an authentic movement in Trinidad and Tobago that, where victims feel safe to tell their story, where survivors feel, confident and comfortable to share their story as well, and where, we can raise more awareness as to what is really taking place in our country, because we talk about the fact that we have massive poverty, etc., but we don't talk enough about the offspring of poverty, which is rape and incest and molestation and all of these things that happen within poorer communities. So the fact that we're shining that light on it now, I love that, and hopefully, particularly with groups like ours, hopefully some kind of change is effected on it. So that's it for me.
And I want to say thank you to all these beautiful ladies who have surrounded me tonight and filled me with so much hope and so much love. There's a GoFundMe that we've set up to raise funds. Charmaine John in New York City, one of our strong members, working alongside Denise Xavier, a pillar of every movement that we are, Denise Xavier and Anthony Sinanan. I'll tell you something here. Call those two names because I want you to know there are people that have made this possible for us to sit here tonight and talk and to get things done. It's not just us. We are a massive team of good people who have forged ourselves into a global family. Charmaine John is one of our newest die-hard members. She is coordinating the GoFundMe. She's based in New York City. I think Satish is sharing the GoFundMe on the ticker tape, if I'm not mistaken. He said, no, I have to do it myself. I don't know what that means. So he'll tell me during the break. You'll get that information. I love that both of them said, it ain't over. And to underscore that, even though my son is ringing up my phone and telling me, no, don't do that, I am walking from Arima to the Red House tomorrow. A symbolic walk, not delivering nothing, but I'm walking for Andrea. Because a couple of weeks ago I said it could be raining, I walk in. It could be snowing, I walk in. Volcano could be erupting, I walk in. And now I hear a volcano erupting, so I say that's a sign from God. I have no choice but to walk. So I walk in tomorrow. I can't tell you if you could walk, you have to call the commissioner of police for that. People messaging me and asking if they could walk with me. I walk in. I am walking from Andrea's, well, not really a house, but Arima, a hometown. I'm starting on Hollis Avenue by the old abandoned gas station opposite the terminus. I'll be there from about 10 or 11 and I'm walking from there. I don't know if I'll make the whole walk. I don't know if I'll collapse and need an ambulance to pick me up, or if I'll make it. I don't know. I've never walked 5-6 hours straight. I'm going to try it tomorrow. And I'm not looking forward to it, but I am doing it because the light not going out in the candlelight movement. No matter how much stunt, how much games, how much play, people getting COVID light and COVID mild. So they test positive and we're in a bubble and they're still working. Nobody's, anyway, listen, I'm telling you, Trinidad and Tobago, we are the ones we've waited for. We have to get involved in our own rescue. It is us. We're not here to save anybody. You and us together will save all of us. And to do that, there will be many ways that you could get on board. You could stay where you are and write a check. You could come on board and help. Like Joseph Richball and Crispin and others who, when they show up, is above and beyond just what they set out to do. Or Kelly, who has a very horrific story. And a lot of people would hide that horrific story. But she turned her coal into diamonds. And she is going to be somebody years down the road when she's a big superstar. You say, yeah, I met that girl and I know her. Serious, I know her. Kelly, you inspired me today. It was lovely having you here. We're going to take a break now. We're going to run some ads. People who support us and keep the show, the trains on the tracks. When we come back, the consistent inconsistencies of solid waste in this country, you're going to hear some horror stories. Stand by.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air-conditioned units starting at $2,100 with installation. We supply Lennox, Pioneer, Infinity, and Comfy units, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters for high-quality wood and steel doors, bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, and decks. We specialize in bank counters, office furniture, cabinetry with granite countertops, and over 500 architectural molding designs. We provide complete outfitting for hotels, resorts, hospitals, banks, tertiary institutions, condominiums, and residential projects. We also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak lumber locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and properly dried in our computerized kiln at our factory's facilities in Trinidad. For over 32 years, our products have been standing strong, and we are committed to providing after-sales support. Visit our showroom or check out our website at www.uniquedoors-tt.com. It's the quality that makes us unique.
Welcome to Movers in Trinidad Limited, Trinidad's #1 company for professional relocation and transport services. We operate 24/7, anywhere nationwide. Don't lift a finger, or Movers will ensure your move is smooth and hassle-free. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Items are properly packaged and well secured during transit. Call or WhatsApp 790-MOVE to book. That's 790-6683. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Movers in Trinidad.
Like that. My heart is hurting, it's more than a crush. Cause I'm frozen in motion and my head tells me to stop. But my heart goes cause my heart goes. But my heart goes. Cause my heart goes. Cause my heart goes. Oh my God, when I see you I shouldn't run. But I'm frozen in motion and my head tells me to stop. But my heart goes.
So we're back. while I would like every show I do to be about gumdrops and jelly beans, rainbows and butterflies, the truth of the matter is we live in a latrine. Trinidad and Tobago is a broken nation failing fast. We have people in government that don't seem to either have a clue or a map. They don't have the inclination to fix this country. But there are a lot of good people in Trinidad and Tobago. People that, despite the leadership or the absence of it, keep the country still running. And a group of people that I have met. And when I tell you, I learned to love their passion. I try all how to help them. A group of people who run our solid waste, and I'm not telling you, I'm telling you in spite of the inefficiency that you're going to hear tonight for yourself. And I don't know yet why these people are just drop their hands and walk away. But you'll hear for yourself. And we are going to take a short break right now. Satish needs to fix something. When we come back, we will bring everybody on camera for you. We have an ad to run right now.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters for high-quality wood and steel doors, bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, and decks. We specialize in bank counters, office furniture, cabinetry with granite countertops, and over 500 architectural molding designs. We provide complete outfitting for hotels, resorts, hospitals, banks, tertiary institutions, condominiums, and residential projects. We also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak lumber locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and properly dried in our computerized kiln at our factory's facilities in Trinidad. For over 32 years, our products have been standing strong, and we are committed to providing after-sales support. Visit our showroom or check out our website at www.uniquedoors-tt.com. It's the quality that makes us unique.
So we apologize for that little break, but I'm sure the advertisers liked it. And while we're on that, SCSCXC tuition classes, 771-3477, 767-7717X school principal, and or Build a Basket, 769-4590. And Trissa Hydro Farm, I don't know if we're doing an ad for them as yet, but those are the people who sell the salad bags, and their phone number is 682-5909. Trust me, the deliver is $100 a bag, and you get more than you need for 2 weeks. I have with me, he is the head of the union that represents the solid waste workers. Yeah. He is Robert Banasia, say good evening because we're going to jump right in as soon.
Right.
That's your camera there. Right.
Okay, well, nice to be here, and we appreciate the opportunity to share.
We overdue to do this.
Yeah.
I have Jason Thomas to my right, and I want to, before I hand you to Jason Thomas is the man that made all of this happen. Jason has not let go of the struggle and the fight, and he is somebody that I will go down in the trenches with anytime. Jason Thomas.
Yeah, good evening to all the listening audience.
Yeah, come across so make and mine. And we have Stephen Rennie, who runs the tire shredding department. Tire shredding operation.
In the Caribbean.
In the where?
In the Caribbean.
In the whole Caribbean.
First.
You're hearing him? Because you know you like to whisper. Come forward, eh? Satish, you're hearing him? You get
Good
it
night
right.
to Trinidad and Tobago.
This is
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Phillip Alexander, the executive of the union, Benasia, the president, and the listening audience.
Mr. Rennie, I want to tell you again, I don't know if you heard the last time I told you this, but I love how your mind works. And you have a way that you construct an idea so efficiently that when you tell what you come to tell, even the mentally deficient would understand. But fellas, this is what we're here to talk about. Because in a country that has no recycling, no environmental management plan, no landfills, we operate in dumps and just dumping everything. Why aren't we drowning in garbage? Who taking that first?
Your question is, why aren't we drowning?
Why aren't we drowning in garbage? We're doing nothing. We have no separation, no sort, no sift, no nothing.
I disagree with you that we're not drowning in garbage.
We're drowning?
We're drowning,
Yeah.
not only in waste.
But how the people in Westmoreland and Goodwood Park and Valsane and Gulfview don't know we're drowning in garbage? It didn't reach by them yet?
All right. Let us give the people in Westmoreland, Woodbrook, St. James, or anybody west of the Beacom landfill a little idea. When you go up in the dump, and as you rightly said, we do not have landfills, it's a dump, and you look at the air currents that take the dust westward. It heads into Port of Spain, and other times it heads west, slightly off of the Gulf into, I guess you
Goodwood
can call
Park.
it Woodbrook, St. James, going down the road into Carnage and maybe into Diego Martin.
Jason, you had having a problem with the green screen. So you gotta listen.
This is toxic dust. This is not ordinary.
But are we
dust.
getting Sahara dust from Sahara? So obviously we will get dust on the beat, and you have to talk and let them understand.
All right,
Tell
but-
them what they're getting, what they're children breathing in.
All right.
Because the people who have the nice view, I've been to houses in Goodwood Park that have a view looking east, and you just see the jewels in the night. But all this is darkness
Well,
that is the beat and down. What we breathing in when we stand up there on the balcony
All
feeling
right,
like big shots?
Before I tell them what they're breathing in, I want them to understand that the teachers and the students in Port of Spain, the people north of the dump, are being poisoned with every conceivable type of hazardous waste, whether it's every chemical that comes into every industry, like
heavy metals, the toxins. But you have a viral load and bacteria. Right now, though, I'm sure they're doing fantastic work with COVID-19. All of your staff must be well protected.
well, I wish.
Nowhere near.
Come now, man, every snotty
While
word.
the Prime Minister and the Health Minister on the TV, on the media, pleading and stressing to the people, they want to make laws charging for masks and all these things, stressing about a pandemic. We have a pandemic that we cocktailing here for decades. You understand? We don't have no type of quality when it comes to handling the waste in this country. As you rightfully say, we dumping. You understand? We legally dumping
When Chinese don't
everything.
see it, they don't care about it.
Well, and
What they drinking in the water, tell them now.
let it. You understand? And as a matter of fact, I had this article from 2017 here, where an independent senator had raised the issue about the lead in the water issue in 2017. You know, and he dubbed it a national emergency. You know, and while they might they might cover that and throw water on that and sweep that under the carpet, that issue still exists. Because the dumps that we in there's something that's supposed to be, that is called a leachate pond. that's supposed to trap the liquid that comes from the garbage when the rain fall. You see a black liquid running like it's supposed to be channeled to a pond to be treated before it comes back into the environment. That liquid goes into the water aquifers.
That is what an engineered landfill is supposed to look like.
Exactly. That liquid goes into the water aquifers. I think just back in 2017 that they scare Arima. You know, all them ministers and them coming all over the room. You understand what I mean? It's a national disaster.
So this is the leachate pond here in your drawing, right?
That's how it's supposed to be.
So in this, when these things start to decompose and break down. Now, but before we reach the here, you're supposed to sort the garbage.
Exactly. Well, exactly.
You're not supposed to be dumping all the car battery and all the COVID-19 masks and all the hospital waste.
Exactly.
And when they bring the sewage truck, where do they dump that to?
Right in the garbage.
So this is how it should be, but this is not what we have.
That is not what we have. We know it close.
We have a hole.
We've been hearing plans of
the whole become a mountain.
Exactly.
We've been hearing plans of an engineered landfill for about the last 3 or 4 years.
We talk about this since 1979.
Since 79.
No, well, the
most recent.
We're talking about the most recent version.
Most recent
version that still is to happen. And in order to have an engineered landfill, you have to have, based on our culture, you need an education program starting from your kindergarten, primary schools, coming up into secondary schools, to start to reculture the population into sorting and separating, because engineered landfills is really for a limited amount of waste. Everything else is supposed to be recycled.
But Robert, we have a black bag culture in Trinidad and Tobago. Our garbage in Trinidad and Tobago is a black bag. When we point in the black bag, we point it outside, it's all it a catch. We don't care about the garbage man. And that's how we just live. The garbage men work is to come and clean up with nastiness. We don't care.
Yeah, you know, I want to highlight something to it. The government has been feeding people under false pretenses, funding what they call so-called recycling projects.
Plastic keep and them not recycling?
We do not recycle in Trinidad. At the NAMDEFCO so-called recycling center, is what we do is produce raw material to export so that other people can add value to it, turn it into products and sell it back to Trinidad. And we are a long way from any major or even any serious attempt in recycling. Recently,
before you reach recycling, I want to ask you this, right? Because the reason I brought up the black bag culture, I've lived in countries where there are different color bags.
Yeah, for different
things.
Yeah.
So that when the garbage truck comes and they tell you, and they've gotten it so sophisticated that I know that I put out my yellow bag on a Tuesday and my blue bag on a Thursday because they have different things in those bags.
Some trucks even have separate compartments for different...
To separate the waste.
Yeah.
And then those things go to different destinations depending on what the waste is. Metal goes to metal, plastic goes to plastic. But we don't do that here.
As a matter of fact, these engineered landfills supposed to receive, I think, roughly between 2 to maybe 5% of the waste that is generated. Everything else is supposed to be recycled.
What's our percentage? Zero. We recycle zero.
Well,
but plastic keeper, what's the name of these people with these bins? I see a different one outside IKEA now.
No.
Are they, what happens to the plastics that go there?
Okay.
I want to tell you something here, before you go further. There's a show on Netflix called Seaspiracy. And I'm happy I watch it. Because I knew when Massey started the returnable bag stunt, it was a stunt. You can't tell me bring a returnable bag into the grocery to save the turtles and the whales when 99% of what I buy that going in the bag is in plastic. So then Styrotex is in plastic and the plastic in plastic.
Everything.
So I knew that they were stunting trying to save our money, and I know Trinidad and Tobago, everything is a gimmick and a game. But when you watch Seaspiracy and you learn what exactly is killing the animals in the ocean, because our main concern, and everybody should watch that show, our main
microplastics.
Our main concern now has to be what happens next. who is in charge of solid waste management at a government level? What's the hierarchy? Which ministry that falls under?
That falls under the Ministry of Public Utilities. And we have had a history. Well, I consider the swim call on the whole falling under any ministry as a bastard child, because for decades, for the last 20 going on 22 years that I have been there, the union and workers have been making recommendations, suggestions, presenting proposals to ministers, to the company, and politicians just tell you what you want to hear, because we met with even Robert Lehan before he left, and they were saying that money is the problem.
Money is not the problem.
So
the problem is Ghana. A lot of our money in Ghana. The problem is Panama. A lot of money in Panama. The problem is London.
No, but why we know money even since the William days, and I fully support your thoughts on the history of the bubble and corruption.
But if the Chinese don't wake up, the children go eat dirt, and they go eat dirt from the landfill.
Because
from the dump.
I was recently thinking, and we talking about COVID and first wave and second wave, but Trinidad has been suffering from tsunamis, corrupt governments for the last 58 years, which has us in the position we're in right now.
I was trying to get a cancer specialist to join this panel, and people would have found it as an interesting mix to have you guys from solid waste management and a cancer specialist. And I want them to understand this. The biggest killer and the most expensive killer in the world when it comes to what kills people in an untimely manner is cancer. Cancer will kill 1,000,000 times what COVID could possibly kill. And we don't pay no attention to that. We have right now a pancreatic spike. That's a spike. John Sabga died from pancreatic cancer. Johnny Gonzalez died from pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer, because Natalie Sabga, his widow, daughter of Peter George Sr., she is running a Purple Foundation to raise awareness, because Chinese don't understand. When you get pancreatic cancer as a diagnosis, buy your flowers. That cancer have almost no treatment. And the only reason I'm bringing up that, and I want a cancer specialist, because obviously we're not going to be able to do this in one show.
No.
And you all know that I committed to working with you all on this, and we will find every single way to raise awareness. But Trinidadians are dying from cancer quietly. When they get cancer, they step back, 2 steps back out of society, and then handle their business and spend out all the money that they worked for their whole life and then dead. But they don't realize that they don't have to get cancer, that the country, the air quality, the water quality, the soil quality, those things matter.
You asked a question earlier on, and when you look at all the manufacturers of paints and chemicals that comes into Trinidad that makes a product, and you have things like lead, cyanide, asbestos, mercury, radioactive waste, hospital waste, all ends up in the dump. And the people that are directly impacted are the workers, the daily paid workers of Swimpole. And we wrote letters
but
to
they don't care.
They don't care.
Chinese not understanding. That's why I needed a doctor to come and tell them when heavy metals get in their system. Stephen, tell them your story.
Well, first to begin, not taking away anything from the union and the comrades, the country has been lied to for more than 50 years. Because if Barbados, who never had hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, have an engineer landfill, then the citizenry has been lied to. After this program, why are staying so quiet? The last time we had any conversation about I speaking, let the CEO tell me I just draw the public awareness and attention. And right now, while I'm talking to you, I come out from sick leave. I've been assaulted by a security. I'm still traumatized. So I'm talking, but I'm saying to you that I ain't sure if I'll be able to talk again. because there might be all different plans set up. But to tell you the honest truth, in
Wait.
Trinidad and Tobago,
They can't do that to you. You have my number. And I want to tell you something. You call me, I want to tell you, you call me. The Citizens Union stands with you, my brother. Don't ever forget that. Continue, tell your story.
in Trinidad and Tobago, the people are not aware that the greatest danger, worse than COVID, corona, cancer, is a thing everybody loves, a vehicle. When you get a vehicle, Marcy bring down maybe 100 or 1,000 vehicles. Each vehicle carries 5 tires, 4 tires and a spare. When you buy a vehicle, you will know better than me because I only buy one vehicle in my whole life. For the year, you might change a tire twice or 3 times. But when you change your tire, the tire you take off your vehicle, its lifespan is 150 years. So why they fooling you and telling you they're going to recycle plastic, which lifespan is only 100 years? When a tire that they're supposed to recycling because its lifespan 150 years and the amount of tires Trinidad sitting on, just now the country might tilt over.
So we're not shredding it? We're not breaking it down?
Tire
And
treading.
reusing it? They didn't say that they was doing that.
I want
They
to tell you
did
why.
some stunt by the zoo and put on some ties.
I
That
want
is
to
that a
tell
real
you
thing?
why on national TV so the public could know and everybody can hear. The person that the government met as the CEO in office, who bring this idea of recycling the tires, due to government and political favorism, they remove him. But when he started in Swimcall, he brought recycling, and which is Mr. Ronald Roach.
He was supposed to be with us.
He was supposed to
He
be.
not well, so he didn't make the show tonight. But
So
we will have part 2 and 3 and 4.
He brought the first tire treader in the Caribbean, in Trinidad. But it was a portable one because the government refused to buy a real treader to tread plain tire. If you see a plain tire, the portable treader can't tread a plain tire.
Or back wheel.
Back wheel. We have a slab, mashing up pallet, but that is not for so the government never wanted to put out the money or spend on doing the right thing. So now, after living in Trinidad and Tobago for 60 years and working out, or growing up on the beat, seeing the landfill and the dump, hearing previous government and previous people come with previous ideas, they're the worst set of people I ever meet in my whole life. First, I'm frightened. I want to resign today, tomorrow, the next day. I prefer to be any other thing than to be wrong or these people are fooling the whole country.
I give you, and I told you all this when I came there. I've been there, and I've been there a couple of times. But the last time when we were there, we had a meeting with the staff, and I told them, I said the Citizens Union is going to work with you all. The reason we're doing this show tonight is we want the government to hear. Go down to the dumps and start the conversation. What is Ronald Roach number? Give them Ronald Roach number on the ticker tape. Mr. Gonzalez, Mr. Public Utilities Minister, call Ronald Roach. They have one man in this country who could fix what's going on in the dumps and the landfills. We're killing Trinidadians with preventable diseases and cancer spikes that we don't need. Call Ronald Roach. Because the workers, I've never seen a situation where the workers tell me, go and get back that manager.
Yeah.
The man know what he's doing.
The man, let me tell you something. We have a bunch of hypocrites from government right down to the management of the company. Just mamaga the public. The government is strictly lip service when it comes to protecting the environment. Ronald Roach is a passionate man about waste management and protecting the environment.
He is extremely knowledgeable. I have met few people in my life that understand their profession the way he understands his. Ronald Roach makes you feel like you understand it too when he talks to you.
Because you know what he's talking about.
But
and
I
he's
say
precise.
that, you can explain it
He
simply.
knows what he's talking. Now, quite recently, right? That would have been like earlier in the year. We had a meeting with the present CEO, the general manager, the HR manager, and the IRO, the Industrial Relation Officer, and the workers had an issue with the general manager of the Department of Operations concerning the way things going. We see like everything contracting out. Things that we used to be doing in-house, they have contractors doing, because we into the collecting our waste also. We used to have a lot of clients, we used to have vehicles, we used to have a staff. Now the company running away, it real top heavy, they're bringing in a set of managers, manager over manager, supervisor over supervisor and things like that. So the workers had asked for a meeting concern about these things and the way things going. We ain't seeing like while they're buying vehicles, we in the yard, we hardly getting to go out and do work, contractors doing work. So the workers call for a meeting. So the CEO response to that is that, here what going on, look, I blame the general manager, it's the man instructing here, and here what going on. They give me a small budget to work with, and I am working with instruction. So, as we're talking about Ronald Roach, when he was here, they had a plan to go by the IDB and get a big loan to organize funds and put a proper engineered landfill in place, transfer station for the sorting of the garbage to take place and all these things. Because 90-something% of the waste is recyclable materials. The rest, which is, as we say, about 5% or whatever, supposed to go to the landfills.
So why they not?
You understand? Okay, so they already started.
But we're charging us for it, we're budgeting for it. It's called Solid Waste Management Company. So are they managing the solid waste?
Only the management.
No.
Or we still dumping? I went to a place who took me to call the tip. I went there where they empty the trucks.
Philip, let me just make a little input on this because it's about money and people making money.
Exactly.
This is a 20-year plan that has been on stream to privatize waste management and swim call. Government after government continue to put the minions to deliberately crash swim call.
What do you think closed down?
It have millions of dollars.
We think closing down WASA.
It's a deliberate plan.
No, but it's a looting from inside. These government parties move like termites.
Yeah.
You pick up a piece of wood that have termites. It look like normal wood on the outside, but you twist it and break like paper. That's what WASA, and I'm not surprised to call. I mean, I'm surprised that even the dump of corruption. But then these people, they could thief milk and sugar out of coffee.
No, waste collection is one of the most lucrative industries in the country. Swim call collections department at one time could have fund all of swim call operations, and there was a
so it could generate profit.
Yes. And
the demand for waste collection is very high.
They have refused to buy the trucks that could earn swim call the type of money that it needs to be less reliant on government.
Maybe they're trying to frustrate you also. Some 1% could come and buy it.
Exactly.
And do it. Maybe that would have done and do
that is one part, but the next part is, remember, swim call is a government run entity. When a government come or change, they put a new board in place. Every member of the board is a businessman. For my 20 years in swim call, every board comes some businessman take part at the government business and make it his own private business. So like BK and people who doing collection now, it was never in existence. They say that we making no money. We used to empty HGC bin for a year, and HGC was owing swim call 100,000. And then they say we making
Stephen, I want to tell you that.
So
all the contractors now was in some government position before.
On the board.
All of them. No, but all of them, they go in to figure it out so then they can come out and thief it out.
Exactly.
That's what goes on. Trinidad's problem, and I want to say this again, for the people who are not getting it, the reason nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago is because governments steal our money. Our problem is our government. Our problem is we have no management. It looks like a piece of wood, but it's termite eaten and rotten. So they twist it. So when they tell you about who get $500,000 in pension in WASA, that is a joke. And I laugh that CNC3 was the one covering that, because CNC3 is a part of a group of companies that makes millions from WASA and all these other companies. We have a rotten country. Trinidad and Tobago is rotten from the top down. Our problem is government. You can't tell me this and you think I don't know. Again, I had to tell you the first time I talked to you because I thought I was sophisticated, but these fellas really good. They find ways to thief from the dump. They find ways to thief from rubbish. They deserve an award.
In terms, for years we have been telling the company to get their own. Remember when you went down, you saw the tractors come back in. Those contractors, regardless of what government is in power, remain there and sucking the bulk of the subvention. When Swimcall should be owning those equipment and improving the collections department to help fund the operations in terms of improving working conditions, finding the funding for the implementation of the engineered landfills, and providing workers with a decent salary.
But do the workers realize? Wait, I just mentioned salary. When was the last time you all dealt with when was the last rounds of negotiations you all had?
11
to 13. But that was settled in 2015 though. That was settled in 2015.
But if you retire now, they have a lump sum for you.
Yeah,
but it will be based on 2013 salary.
No. It had to be based on 2021 salary.
No, if you retire now again, his calculation is based on 2013 salary, which is the salary that we presently work.
$57 for butter in the grocery. 2013 salary buying butter.
Let me make a little correction to that. Now,
yeah, this is the head of the union, so he know what he's talking about.
This is a 11 to 13 collective agreement that was signed
in 2015.
In 2015,
yeah.
Right? If any one of us retires now, we would get paid at this rate. But whenever or if ever another collective agreement is signed, they would have to do a recalculation of the severance based on.
So you get a lump sum there.
Well, the lump sum. So this lump sum is not a lump sum because the salaries are so small. By the time
the value go on long time.
Let Chinese think all you're making all the money.
Value of money go on long time.
Listen, watch. Let the girls watching the thing. It's time to date a garbage bag.
A nice uniform. When I started to work, I was working for $40 a day. Nobody will now work there.
Phillip, let me tell you something,
It was mud, they didn't have no building. Now they're bringing a set of new people and tele-recycling and a proper building, and they don't want the people who was working in the mud to come in the building.
Exactly so.
That is height
you see the workers,
damage. You see the workers who sacrifice their life, as I tell the president, the prime minister. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have a place named UE with educated people who have 10 masters and things. How nobody in Trinidad and know where waste going. When a truck pump out your feces, we're disposing of. After 50 years, well, at that time when my family, all of them leave and migrate, say Trinidad and a whole I understand them, no, I go fight a war and die for here. Because I told the people in authority, like great David Abdullah tell me, we does always feel that the people we put in authority have more sense than us. When some of us on the ground are unique senses, with some of these people, we are paying a lump sum of money, it seems like there are no sense.
I just want to touch on something. Sanitation workers in this country have no value.
None.
The life of the sanitation worker, his ability to...
I was going to ask you that. If you retire, you have a medical plan? You have a cancer medical plan?
No,
you have a heart disease medical plan?
We have a medical plan,
or you have a Busto medical plan?
Well, actually, from the first of this month, they would have made a upgrade in terms of the type and quality of the medical
because
plan.
I was there, and you all have no personal protection, none. You have no rebreathers, no breathing apparatus. Some of you all working in the United States of America, OSHA would have shut that down already.
Exactly.
Because what you all breathing in there on that, when they're crushing, as you say, asbestos and heavy metal.
Everything.
So what happens is you develop illnesses late in life based on what you've been exposed
Exactly.
And we wrote that in a lot of letters telling them as they get older, prolonged exposure, and this was to the hunt to every line minister and prime minister.
But the thing is, all these people know these things. These educated people, and let me draw a perfect example of that, right? Let me draw a perfect example of that. We have a safety officer, right? Some months back we had a meeting, and that is one of the reasons I did stop go safety meeting, because it's just a bunch of crap, waste of time thing. Just just to say that a safety officer in the company. The safety officer was asked by the workers, so in the past when a safety officer used to be here, planted on the dump here, stationed at the dump here. Why you listen to me here, you just pass through? And she gave them a big hullabaloo excuse. And many reasons why she don't need to be at the dump itself. You understand? So I come now and I end up telling them, I say, hey, she knows the danger that here poses, that she not putting herself here daily like with the workers here. You understand? And she felt offended by that. Now, 2 weeks back the company, like she know she had to come and go upstairs in the building right to the dump there. She hold tune to turn around the front now. She say, we in a unicorn bus. We don't have a landfill, we have a dump. So she coming now to say the same thing that I've been saying to the workers. You understand? In terms of because she had to be there now.
And that's it.
You understand? So that's why I was saying these people know these things.
Yeah, but Jason, I want to tell you this. And I'm happy that Robert is here. Because I'm saying this, why do the workers continue?
I could tell you why.
You know, right now, before you answer me, and this is the thing that bothers me. What happens if one of y'all get positive COVID-19 test? They shut down the dump?
No, it had no cara.
When COVID broke out last year, a tractor driver and a truck driver, unknowing to the public, they send them home and it had COVID. The department I working on.
How do you sanitize the dump?
It had no sanitizing. It had no sanitizing measures
Let me get to
there.
answer your question first.
Go ahead.
The question you asked about why the workers stay how they is, and I could challenge you or any educated person and they will tell you yes, it's true. If you inhale and breathe toxic diesel, oil, and for 10 years it could clog your whole brain system and the flow of your brain. That sometimes people, doctors come in and tell you, you're sick and
I loved when I came there.
That I really
the
don't
camaraderie of the workers, because support. If you're so strong together, why you're not standing for each other? Why workers in the dump don't down tools until you get at least, let me finish this, at least COVID protection.
Exactly.
You have no COVID protection.
Exactly.
Everybody snotty rag, everybody old mask, all the hospital waste, you handling all of that. So until you get COVID protection, because you should have breathing apparatus to protect you, not just mask, until you get that, the Minister of Health, the Alsing, why don't go and see what these people working under?
Need to pay the dump visit.
Parashram. Why don't go and see what these people, the conditions they're working under when all they finish stunt and have a little meeting? Why don't go and see where all the dirty rag and the blow nose, where the paper go in?
Exactly.
1.4 million people in this country. Every time they send somebody home to quarantine, or everything they use, every fork, every box, every paper, every plate, where think it going? Who think handling it? And they have nothing for these people. I've been there repeatedly. They have nothing. Nothing.
Now, for the longest while we asking for a wheel wash, right? A wheel wash is something that is basic, that a basic dump or landfill supposed to have. Because you see that highway when people coming down and they see that dust when they're going down the highway, when they reach the bottom. If you open your air conditioned vent, you just put it on open and smell that dust. That dust is actual toxic chemical poison, makes you smelling the actual poison scent in that dust.
Chini don't care about Jason.
And you watch it.
Chini don't care, Jason. Listen, Chini don't care. As long as they ain't dead, no. You see, they make a joke in a show, but did you die? That's Trinidadians. If you get you now, because they don't realize the children in the backseat.
And that's the thing.
And you have a responsibility as a parent. This country is guilty of child abuse because of that. Child abuse, because those children who are innocent victims of state-sponsored poisoning. That's what's going on. Chini's watching it and saying, oh man, Phillip, they have bigger problems. I want to tell you something. All of the problems are bigger problems. The reality is, and I want to ask you all again, I asked you just now, why the workers putting up with this? Because I will stand with you. Why aren't we downing tools? Is sanitation workers essential workers?
Yes.
They're essential workers by what law?
By the state law.
Which law? Tell me, quote it to me. Let me know. Let me know, because they had to be. Do we have OSHA in this country?
But it's a toothless bulldog.
Do we have OSHA? We have EMA?
It's a toothless bulldog.
Everybody stop working.
The Industrial Relation Act identifies
sanitation.
Robert, I'm not letting you drag it. I want to ask you something. Is any agreement that you entered into with the state based on soil quality, air quality, and water quality tests in and around the dam?
No.
So they can't tell you what you're being exposed to?
No.
Do you know that they cannot write a law that makes you put yourself at risk to yourself? So there is no police officer, no fireman that has to put themselves at risk of death. Why do you have to put yourself at risk to death? Where are the medical officers advising the union, Robert? Where's the medical report? Where is the state having to pay for air quality, soil quality, water quality where you work? Where is that? Have you asked for that?
We have asked for that and a lot more, including medical coverage after retirement.
Okay, so then we need a lawyer then.
We need one.
We need a lawyer to come and get involved here to say, they say that these people is essential workers, but they're sending them into their debt.
Exactly.
So we need a lawyer to get involved to say that there has to be a way for you all to protect yourself.
You asked a question just now, and I want to make it important. You asked why workers continue to. During this period, the government has used the excuse no money and poor economy, and workers are being held hostage to employment and conditions.
The Prime Minister and the opposition leader take a cut in salary for the whole of COVID.
Exactly.
Lock down the economy, close down people's business, cause stress and pressure. They take $1 off, you know. Them salary fat still, you know.
And
we have ministers in this country, like a minister of sport and a minister of tourism, who have one ass to do now for the foreseeable future, drawing fat salary now, you know. But telling you who is essential, because if Trinidad ever experienced 2 days without sanitation workers, you will realize who the real essential, no, I use the word essential workers here, you are essential to the smooth operation of the country. I think the conversation we have to have next is, from a legal point of view, Mr. Swim Call Manager and Mr. Public Utilities Minister, we want you to address this as a matter of urgency, or we will take it before the courts. Gentlemen, you'll give me your closing comments, but this is not the only time we having this conversation. We're going to have more of these, because I've been trying to get you on the show, Jason, though, for the longest while. And that's why Satish say, okay, we will go nightly. But I'll start with you, and I will let you give me your closing as the head of the union from that perspective. And you understand what I'm saying?
Well,
let Trinidadians hear you.
I want to say that the excuse that there is no money to improve working conditions and the several benefits and improving the environmental conditions, saying that there is no money, is a lie, because we have provided a proposal that could make SwimCall $288 million in additional revenue that they have refused to implement, and that is a plan that was done 30 years that was retweaked a couple of years ago. Robert Lee Hunt said he was going to take it to cabinet. He never did. And what ministers continue to do is tell people and tell the workers and union what they want to hear, never do it, and continue to feed the friends and family at the workers' expense. And this has to stop.
Robert, I'm going to tell you something. I want to tell you something, Robert. I want you not to hear me. It is for purposes like these the Citizens Union was formed. You have my unequivocal support and all of the support of all of the people that I can marshal to your cause. And I want to let Trinidad know that we are going to begin the process of examining this from a legal point of view. The state has a responsibility first and foremost to protect these men, to protect their families. They're taking home to their families. You ain't know what they're taking home to their families in their boots and their uniform and in their hair. And it's unfair. And it's unfair that we, the rest of the country, get to live a proper, decent life because of the work that these people do. The state has a responsibility to them first, and then to the rest of us, to the people in Goodwood Park who breathing in cancer every time they open the window. Jason.
Well, before I give my closing remark, right, I just want to read out a statement from 2019, the Newsday. Anthony Carmona, the former president, made about the Beetham landfill. Well, the dump as we know it, right? He said, "How is it we have allowed the citizenry of the Beetham and Sealots to breathe such carcinogenic air year after year? We have been asleep at the gates of environmental protection. In urbanized communities, clean air is becoming a diminishing commodity, a feature of the past, and a stark reminder of generational irresponsibility." Now, these people, while they're in office, is funny.
No, I want to say no. Anthony Carmona, former president, my number, you have it, 682-2110. I want you to reach out to me because you're a lawyer and a former judge. And I want you to help us solve this problem. You've put your word to it. And I want to work with you. You know you're a man I respect. The powers that you had and the powers that you didn't know you had. You have them now. You could help these people now, and the people who live in Sealots and the Beetham. So anybody who is seeing this, in case former President Carmona is not seeing it, forward it to him, or forward him my number, 682-2110.
Right, so I want to say to the public, right, the sanitation workers, the salvagers, the nearby residents at these dumps, the health and the lives matters. Our waste management system is definitely a national emergency, a generational responsibility, as the former President Carmona said.
I love your energy. No, just not tell I love your energy. Because you bring me into this. Mr. Man.
My closing comment.
Dr. Rennie.
My closing comment is really for the public and the workers. Two comments. One, I will like to see before I pass to the other side that the government or whoever private do something about waste in the country. When I started to work, educated people, these were the challenge educated people, the lawyers, the doctors, the professors, it's because they say he's a patriot when you're picking up waste. If he was doing that in England, he would have been a millionaire. So tonight, I thank Mr. Alexander for the opportunity to tell Trinidad and Tobago, in all first world country, the first thing you deal with is waste. The first thing is one of the most important things, because all germ viruses come from waste. And then the workers that sacrifice their life and challenge the educated people, that these people was working for $40 a day and was never even given a medal or a cup of tea or good coffee in the Prime Minister resident or the President. This should be taken to school to teach the children to come, my children, grandchildren, about waste separation and saving this little dot we have that we call home and Trinidad and Tobago, that it will be contaminated and my children might only be able to live on it for 10 years. That's my closing country.
What else am I
To make a last closing.
Yeah, you go.
If they're really serious about implementing international standards about waste management,
bring Roach back.
They need to get Ronald Roach
Bring
back.
Bring Roach back.
And stop,
we need to get Roach on our show.
And stop.
But he's sick. Roach sick. He gonna be here. He gonna be here. Roach is part of the team. I want to tell you something. The gentleman to my left, he's the head of the union. He told you, and Ronald Roach told me too, and he is the best at this in the Caribbean. He said that it could first become self-liquidating. What self-liquidating means, it pays for its own operation and then it can become profitable. And the only reason it's not, and I am saying this, is because of banditry and corruption, Trinidad and Tobago style. Sure. And that is why it continues. And tomorrow these workers go back out to work. And we just passed through a lockdown when we understood that it is people like them and the nurses and the people who do the actual work in the country that keeps the wheels on the ground. Listen, yeah man, Trinidad and Tobago, we have to fix this country. The good news is there are people like this who are willing to stand up. I went and I met with all the workers in the Port of Spain dump, and a nicer bunch of people you'll be hard pressed to find. I came downstairs and the security wanted to throw me out, and all of the workers stand up there and I said, let me go before this become a thing. But just the fact that they were willing in their place of employment show me what we're dealing with here. Good and decent people. We need better salaries for them, and it could be paid for by the work that they're doing. So Christ, let that happen. Stop bleeding everything. How much teeth all you need to teeth? How much Porsche you need to buy? How much fancy you need to dress fancy before people tell you, all right, okay, your penis not so small. Don't tell me that, because what it's for? How much pocket square and hair gel you need before you realize, look, you still the ugly little pimply child you was when you were small. The truth of the matter is, going forward from here, we are one country, we are one people on one boat, and if we let it sink, all are we going to drown? Exactly. Except for those who have the lifeboats. The same ones who have the hair gel. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, need to understand that we are the ones who are going to drown if it sinks. So we have to stop that now. Again, I will bring to you, and we will bring to you, every single opportunity for you to know what's wrong and how to fix it. I'm telling you, the solid waste situation, it is easy to fix. Put the right people in it and stop the thief in. Exactly. That was the solution to Petrotrin. Exactly. That is the solution to WASA. Exactly. That is the solution to TNTech. That is the solution to NGC. Exactly. That is the solution, right, wrong. Take the thieves out, then the people who know what they're doing run it. This has been Plain Talk. Until next time. And I'd like to say thank you to Satish Ramsaran Crispin, Joseph Rich Paul, the rest of the crew, the ladies who were on with us earlier, all of our supporters and advertisers, those who help us. This is going to be a monster show when it becomes a nightly show, because we will bring and give a voice to every single citizen in this country, and we're not going to stop till we fix it. This has been Plain Talk.